So when I left fundamentalist Christian churches, I realized that there seems to be a common pattern with how churches, authority, and religious discipline works. I'm not a big fan of religious punishment or any of that kind of thing. I don't think it's anyone's business what people do. But if you're in a church that does religious discipline, then that's something you must support. I'm the kind of person where I see a lot of hypocrisy, and I just made a video on this, okay? It astounds me how there is no internal reflection when it comes to religious people. And yeah, I'm sure there are religious people out there that are intellectually superior. They have critical thinking skills. They see a lot of the hypocrisy and just the downright villainism of religion. I'm not saying that there aren't smart, wise people, decent people in religion. I'm saying the people who run the show consistently enable, create, hide, and endorse the idea that if somebody's caught doing a felony, it might not even be illegal, where a pastor has an affair, a relationship, and I don't even call it a relationship because it is a power imbalance. It is abuse. Is it illegal? No. As long as the person is 18 or older in the state where it's legal, it's not a crime. It's still predatory because of the power imbalance, but it's not an actual crime. In those circumstances, the pastor should be fired. Because when you become a senior leadership person in a church, there is a standard. If the CEO that was caught during Coldplay was fired for an inappropriate relationship and just making their company look bad, pastors should be fired. Should it run their career forever? I think so. Because these aren't relationships. This is predatory. It may not be illegal, but it's predatory. Anyone in a position of power has no business getting it on, dating, or asking out someone under that authority. It's like a teacher and a student, a dentist and a patient, a therapist and a client. You don't do that. You don't have a dual relationship. You can't be a supervisor or someone. You can't date a subordinate. You get sued, and rightfully so. But what happens when it comes to relationships that are illegal, borderline criminal? There seems to be a consistency where if the man is even caught, and it's women, but we're going to talk about men right now. When men are caught doing something illegal or borderline unethical, they're usually suspended and then reinstated, especially if they've done a felony. Every church should fire and have him arrested. And if it's not criminal, he needs to be fired and blackballed from ever holding another position because he's a predator. He's just not the illegal kind of predator. And within 90 days, consistently, these churches are reinstating, hiring back, and putting him back giving him an authority platform to abuse again. Consistency. It never stops, does it? Now, there are churches out there. Usually, they're not churches in the biggest 5 denominations of Christianity, but there are more liberal, non-denominational churches. They don't put up with that crap. You get one chance. You even hint at doing an unethical relationship, you're fired. If you do something illegal, they clamp the cuffs on you. That's how it should be. But that's not how the biggest denominations work. Or at least the majority do not work that way. And when the goal is to forgive and restore, not fire and convict, you have a problem. I'm not saying you can't forgive people who have hurt you or harmed you, whether it's illegal or unethical. That's up to every victim and everyone that's impacted by this kind of thing. It should not be expected. Nobody deserves or is entitled for the attention or forgiveness of anyone they've harmed. If you want to forgive and it's something that doesn't traumatize you further, proceed at your own choice and desire. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It's okay. It's, I see you, I don't trust you, and I choose not to have fellowship with you. But I may or may not want to have bad feelings. But forgiveness doesn't forgive or forget the harm. And forgiveness is used by the biggest Christian fundamentalist denominations as a get-out-of-jail-free card. That's why a lot of people who get trapped and they know these people are guilty, they force them to marry the person they've hurt so they can't legally be forced to testify. Be very careful who you let into your house, who you date, and the people you want your kids to follow and hold up as a role model. Because those people are the most likely candidates to harm children. And until churches consistently forbid and do the right thing, churches are not safe for anyone who is under the authority of a cis heterosexual man. Because that's where the majority of predators come from. And if you have religion involved, you have a completely different layer to abusive dynamics. There can be no consent when there's a power imbalance. And if somebody is a subordinate to someone else, you can't have consent. They can't say no because you have power. Even if the person likes it and enjoys it, they don't understand what the relationship really is. Because if you understand you're being groomed, then you probably would see the relationship much differently. Just because somebody likes you or likes what's going on does not mean it's ethical or that it's legally consensual. And they know it's wrong. They know it's wrong. And deep down, the survivor knows it's wrong too. They may not know how, they may not know why. They know that something isn't right. Because your gut tells you these things. And it can take them decades to figure out what was wrong. And we need to stop calling 10 to 14-year-old kids young women. We need to stop calling power imbalances and toxic, abusive, illegal relationships affairs. Power imbalances are not romantic. They're setting up an abusive triangle. And as long as we keep reinstating predators of the illegal kind or the unethical kind, we're screwed. No pun intended. And it's all about forgiving and forgetting. If that's what it takes to not bring charges or for someone to escape the lowest form of justice, fuck forgiveness.